LiberalViewer presents.
So USA PATRIOT Act, which is going to, some parts of it are going to expire on June 1st. There's a big controversy over Section 215, which has been used as the justification for bulk phone record collection by the NSA, and the Second Circuit Court of Appeals recently said that was illegal. It was too great an expansion of the power of Section 215, which basically says that you can get an order from a judge that requires no discretion from the judge. As long as you say a few things in your request, the judge has to grant this order to get any tangible thing. And they expanded that to all phone records of all, metadata in every, the two phone numbers and how long they were connected of every phone conversation in the United States, which seems like an overexpansion to me. And so this is from ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos from his interview with Senator Mitch McConnell, leader of the U.S. Senate, and he seems to want to get a couple-month extension and then get the program reauthorized here.
One area where you still appear to be at odds is over this NSA's telephone surveillance program. It's about to expire in a couple of weeks. The White House backs a bill passed by the House which would have telephone companies keep the records, end the government collection. 196 Republicans in the House voted for that bill. Why are you worried about it?
Well, actually, the bill that passed the House does not require the telephone companies to keep the records. I fear the House-passed bill will basically end the program, and I want to reassure everybody there are plenty of safeguards in this program. Nobody at the NSA is routinely listening into your telephone conversations in order to intercept any actual discussion on a telephone. They have to go to a court, get a court order. This has been a very important part of our effort to defend the homeland since 9/11. We know that the terrorists overseas are trying to recruit people in our country to commit atrocities in our country. We saw a great example of just what I'm talking about in the Boston Marathon massacre. I don't want us to go dark, in effect, and I'm afraid that the House-passed bill will basically be the end of the program, and we'll not be able to have yet another tool that we need to combat this terrorist threat from overseas.
Your own.
Now, it's kind of weird that he mentioned the Boston Marathon bombing there, because the NSA spying program did not help at all with that. And Rand Paul's going to mention that in a minute in a clip I'm going to show from his interview over on NBC's Meet the Press. But first I want to show Mitch McConnell responding to a question from George Stephanopoulos specifically about Senator Rand Paul's position and how the getting rid of this program would be a blow for freedom over in this clip.
Your own Senate colleague from Kentucky, Rand Paul, wants to end the program. He put out a tweet this week saying, "I will fight tooth and nail to stop a blanket reauthorization of this attack on our freedoms." How do you respond to that the NSA surveillance program is an attack on our freedoms?
Well, Rand Paul and I agree on most things. We don't agree on this. He doesn't like the House-passed bill either. So we're just in a different place on this. Reasonable people can differ. I think it is an important tool if we're going to have the maximum opportunity to defend our people here at home. And I don't think the House bill does that. I think it basically leads us to the end of the program. What I would rather see, George, is a couple of month extension of the existing program so we can get reassurance that this new bill that passed the House can actually work.
That could face a filibuster.
Well, everybody threatens to filibuster. We'll see what happens. But this is the security of the country we're talking about here. This is no small matter. We see it on display on almost a weekly basis. Earlier in your program, you were talking about the raid that was carried out in Syria. That was over there. What I'm worried about is what happens over here. And this program has been an important tool in helping to protect the homeland.
You mentioned that.
I don't see any evidence that this program has been an important tool. The only one who seems like an important tool to me is Senator Mitch McConnell. I did want to show one more clip. This is Senator Rand Paul making a much more persuasive argument, I think. This is one of the issues where I think Senator Rand Paul gets it pretty much right, talking specifically about how the Boston Marathon bombing was not stopped by this program, and various other very good arguments saying why we shouldn't continue the authority that has been used to do this bulk phone record collection over here.
Let me move to the Patriot Act. We have reauthorizations coming up before June 1st. It's unclear whether it's going to get reauthorized at all before you guys go on your Memorial Day recess. Senator McConnell's talking about a 2-month extension. I know you want to filibuster any Patriot Act extension. Would you even support a 2-month extension?
Well, the court has ruled that the bulk collection of all of our phone records all of the time is illegal. So really, it ought to stop. If the president's obeying the law, he should stop it immediately, and we shouldn't be doing this. I don't want to replace it with another system. I really think that we could get along with the Constitution just fine. We did for over 200 years. You can catch terrorists. Judges will grant warrants. In fact, if you look at the history of our country, judges are actually very much, it's not a difficult lift to get a warrant for most activities that you want to be investigated, but the warrant should have someone's name on it. Shouldn't say Verizon, and then we shouldn't collect all of the customers of Verizon. That's a general warrant, and that's one of the things we fought the Revolutionary War over, is that we wanted individualized warrants.
You know, you're so critical of the NSA in your book. I have to ask, would you eliminate it if you were president?
No, I would actually keep the NSA. In fact, I would have the NSA target their activities more and more towards our enemies. I think if you're not spending so much time and money collecting the information of innocent Americans, maybe we could have spent more time knowing that one of the Sonarev boys, one of the Boston bombers, had gone back to Chechnya. We didn't know that, even though we'd been tipped off by the Russians. We had communicated, we had interviewed him, and still didn't know that. Same with the recent jihadist from Phoenix that traveled to Texas in the shooting in Garland. We knew him. We had investigated him. We had put him in jail. I want to spend more time on people we have suspicion of and we have probable cause of, and less time on innocent Americans. It distracts us from the job of getting terrorists.
All right, let me go.
So that was an excellent answer from Senator Rand Paul. There are some issues where he says pretty much all the right things, and pretty much everything he said there was right. At least I think it was right. You can let me know what you think. And I think from that answer, it didn't sound like he was going to go along with this 2-month extension that Senator Mitch McConnell was talking about there. And so whether... I guess it's actually possible that parts of the Patriot Act will expire on June 1st and not be reauthorized. That would really be awesome. So let me know what you think. Will the Republican-controlled Congress reauthorize the USA Patriot Act before June 1st? And regarding the Republican split, who has the argument that will win out in the Republican Party? Senator Mitch McConnell or Senator Rand Paul?
YouTube, you decide.